What's up, guys? I really wanted to talk about this self-love movement that I've been noticing more and more. I think it's really dope, and we've all come so far in terms of raising the overall consciousness of humanity. And I'm really glad that people are understanding that self-love is really important. It's pretty much where everything begins. Our physical, mental, emotional, spiritual well-being, it all starts with self-love. I don't really think past generations really, went in on self-love like my generation has, because past generations were so focused on survival and financial building and just being traditional. That's why we have such different values from our parents. Anyways, I wanted to bring to light a trend that I've been noticing that I feel like could actually do more harm than good. So when we choose to make new changes to our lifestyle and, improve our well-being, we're most likely trying to think long-term, right? We want to actually get down to the root of our problems and, heal them. And it's a process. It's going to take some time, especially because we've been conditioned our entire lives to fit into a box, to fit into societal norms. So let me break this down as best I can. I'll go over a brief timeline of a millennial's life, and then we'll get to what I see as a huge misinterpretation of what self-love is. So we millennials, I guess, grew up watching Disney movies that basically preached that the end game was to find our Prince Charming, and that once we find this person, we'll feel complete, and we're basically just halves until we find someone to make us whole. And then at the same time, technology is growing, and it starts getting more advanced, and we start disconnecting from each other, even though the point of it was to bring us closer together. And then social media comes in, and all of a sudden now we're comparing ourselves to everybody else. It's just creating even more distance, and then constant commercials and advertisements telling us we're not pretty enough, we're basically just not good enough. And then the music has changed so much throughout the years, and a lot of it these days is just about drugs or sex and really superficial topics. And yeah, basically all this that I just said is a recipe for loneliness. So no wonder why this self-love movement came about. Thank goodness. There are just so many distractions that take us farther and farther away from our true, authentic selves. How the hell are we gonna find our people or our dream partner if we're so far away from ourselves? How do we expect someone to love us if we don't even love us? That basically means that love is about finding something to take the pain away, to fill our voids because we haven't done it ourselves. That means love is about giving the responsibility to somebody else to make us feel good. We want to feel good all the time, and that is exactly the problem. This generation, I truly feel, has been conditioned to be led by their egos. Do we even know who we really are underneath our egos? What are our actual values that align with our soul, that make our soul happy? Not our egos, but our soul. Not the values that your ego has picked up over time due to wanting to avoid pain. Nothing fear-based. What are our conscious-based values? So we definitely picked up a lot of unhealthy practices and habits over time, not so healthy mentalities. So here comes the self-love movement. And so this movement empowers us because it tells us that we deserve better. Positive vibes only. Surround yourself with people that only make you feel good and feel happy. It's all about feeling good. It can be great because when we actually get to a point where we do feel really good, it's possible that we start shedding, the toxic things that have been holding us down for so long. Shedding the negativity, it's a really awesome start, but it's not sustainable. It's a really great beginning, but it's not the end. Because life is about duality. It's accepting the darkness and the light, finding the good and the bad. It's about the whole spectrum of feelings and emotions. If we only follow what this movement tells us to do, we're making our peace of mind dependent on our surroundings and our circumstances. So basically, I'm only gonna feel good if I'm with happy people in a positive environment. How realistic is that? The truth is, we will never be able to cultivate a life that is only positive because we aren't supposed to just feel good all the time. Instead of demanding a certain way of life, we could be going way beyond that. We can be going so much deeper. We can learn to cultivate a deep inner peace so that no matter who we're with or what our circumstances are, we will be okay. If we continue to keep telling ourselves that life is supposed to only feel good, then we wouldn't know how to deal with death or how to heal our trauma or even gratitude wouldn't exist because gratitude needs contrast in order to exist. If we keep following this positive vibes only trend, then we're basically saying this person isn't good enough for us. They're not on our level. They're not good enough to be a part of my life. We're going to be putting ourselves on a pedestal instead of empathizing that we are all on our own specific journeys and that maybe we've crossed paths to be a part of each other's. It's not supposed to divide. It's not supposed to separate. It's supposed to make us feel that we're all human beings going through the same emotions and we all have feelings. It's supposed to unite us. So please just do not confuse self-love with your ego. The only way to tune in to our highest self is to surpass the ego. So the ego is always that voice that says, how dare this person does this to me? The ego takes everything personally. Sometimes, yes, the ego can be beneficial in our lives for a short amount of time because sometimes it gives us this boost of confidence. It gives us this boost of power to get things done, but it's fueled by fear. Fear of failure, fear of this other person getting ahead of me. I need the validation and praise of other people. The ego makes your life feel like a huge competition. Eventually, the ego is just going to lead you to an entitled dark hole. There's no peace found there. So I really believe that this generation grows up thinking that their ego is their intuition. And that's a huge problem. We all want quick fixes and fast results, and we don't want to experience any feelings of discomfort ever. So we just keep doing things or being with people that fluff up our egos and make us feel good. And we just keep doing that because we don't want to confront doing the inner work. And I get it. It feels gross and scary and not natural. This is just a small example, but I used to have a client. His main goal was to find balance in his life and learn to love himself, basically. For a few months, he really made it seem like our time together was really helping him, and he started feeling really good. But unfortunately, this self-love that I was building with him was actually just fluffing up his ego and putting him on a pedestal. And he started doing things to show people how much he's grown, like how good he felt. For example, Twitter as a platform to just expose people that they're messing up in their lives, and just the whole approach was not good. And when I brought it to his attention, his ego was so bruised that he actually just decided to cut me out and dismiss me. If you get offended when somebody calls out your ego, you have an ego problem. But anyways, I'm really thankful for that experience because that was one of the things that really showed me that this misinterpretation of what self-love really is could actually be causing so much more problems. So I believe that the first step in a spiritual journey is to, in fact, learn how good you can feel. Solitude, start shedding those toxic people, leave that job or relationship that's run its course already. And maybe a part of your spiritual journey is to develop a small ego. I know for me personally, what helped me in the beginning was to put on this front that I was like a bad bitch that don't need no man. But you know what? Having that ego for X amount of time, it made me realize that I'm already whole. But naturally, as I dug deeper in myself, I realized that was a very inauthentic layer of me. It was a step in my process though. Like being that image really helped me become independent. Basically, just keep following your inner voice. And yes, maybe sometimes you will get it confused with your ego, but just don't expect that your experiences are supposed to lead you to pure bliss. Like, don't kid yourself saying that your intuition is going to lead you to magical love right away and all these amazing bright things. That's not how it works. So intuition, once you learn to keep following it more and more, it's going to lead you to experiences. Experiences are going to change you, and a lot of the times it's going to come with pain. These are the experiences that you personally are going to go through to become the best version of yourself. So allow your inner voice to lead you to lessons that will lead you to new levels of perspective and understanding. Embrace this uncomfortable process of change and do it over and over again until you get used to uncertainty and discomfort. Experiment, make mistakes, switch it up. That is exactly where deep peace lies. When we can finally accept the flow of life, the natural ups and downs, the unfortunate circumstances that reveal us, the elated moments that make it all worth it, the yin and the yang. Never look down on others. Never make it your responsibility to show other people the way. The greatest gift you can give the world is your own self-discovery, your own personal healing, your own effortless, radiant, loving energy. It really all starts with you. So that's it. Thanks guys for watching. Bye.